eggs a day. That's what I eat. Every morning, same thing. And for years, people looked at me like I was loading a gun and pointing it at my own chest. Turns out, they were wrong. Not a little off. Wrong in almost every direction, on almost every point. I'm walking you through what's actually happening in your body when eggs become a daily thing. Cholesterol, muscle, brain, all of it. And the stuff at the end is the part nobody ever brings up. Let's get into it. Okay, cholesterol. Everyone's uncle has an opinion on this at Thanksgiving. Back in the 60s, one study spooked the entire world off eggs. One study. Small sample, shaky methods, the kind of thing that would get laughed out of a journal today. But fear moves faster than corrections ever do. So 60 years later, people are still side-eyeing egg yolks like they're contraband. What's actually going on is basically the reverse. Your liver makes most of your cholesterol on its own. Food barely touches that number. Eat eggs regularly and your liver just dials back production a little to compensate. Your good cholesterol tends to go up, and the LDL you do have shifts toward the bigger, fluffier kind, not the small dense stuff that's actually tied to artery damage. So no, eggs aren't the villain. They might genuinely be doing you a favor. Not all protein works the same way, and this part surprised me too. A steak, a chicken breast, a fillet of salmon, that's muscle tissue. Dense, tightly built for movement, and honestly, a hassle for your body to break down. A chunk of it, maybe 20 to 25%, just doesn't get absorbed properly. An egg isn't muscle at all. It's the blueprint for building a whole living creature from one cell. So every amino acid your body could possibly need is already sitting there, in the right ratio. That's why egg protein runs at close to 100% efficiency, basically nothing wasted. Every gram goes straight to repairing tissue, running your immune system, whatever your body needs it for that day. If you train, or you're just tired in a way you can't quite explain, this alone might be worth paying attention to. Nobody talks about the yolk like it's actually a fuel source. It is. Lean protein by itself is a weak fuel. Your body only pulls something like 10 to 20% usable energy out of it. Slow, unreliable. The fat in the yolk changes that math completely, pushing usable energy up around 65%. That's the difference between crashing by 10 a.m. and just not. It's also why an egg breakfast holds you for hours, and a bowl of cereal doesn't make it past your commute. This one's weird, but stay with me. Egg whites are basically weaponized. Before a chick hatches, it's sitting in a shell with no immune system, fully exposed to whatever bacteria happens to be around. So the white developed its own defense, proteins that tear apart bacterial cell walls, others that lock down iron and biotin so nothing harmful can feed off them. There's a myth attached to this. Raw egg whites supposedly wreck your biotin levels. True, technically, if you're chugging a dozen raw whites a day like it's 1987 and you're prepping for a bodybuilding show. Cook the egg and that risk is just gone. This next part hits differently depending on your age, honestly. There's an amino acid in eggs called leucine, and its whole job is flipping the switch on muscle repair. No leucine, weak signal, slower rebuild. Eggs happen to carry more of it than almost anything else you'll eat. Past 40, you're already losing a bit of muscle every year whether you notice it or not. A steady leucine signal from food is one of the few things that actually pushes back on that. Doesn't sound exciting, I know. But it's the difference between climbing stairs fine at 70 and not. This is the one I genuinely think matters most, and almost nobody brings it up. Eggs are loaded with choline, B12, and folate, 3 things that all feed into a process called methylation. Skip the biology lecture. Methylation is your body's repair and cleanup crew. DNA repair, hormone regulation, clearing out chemicals, making the compounds your brain runs on. Here's the number that gets me. Close to 40% of people have a genetic quirk that makes this process run less efficiently, and most of them have zero idea. When it's sluggish, you get brain fog, flat motivation, inflammation that won't go away, sometimes even fatty liver down the line. Eggs hand your body the raw material for this whole system, already in a form it can use. Two more things, fast, because they get buried. There are two antioxidants in the yolk, lutein and zeaxanthin, that park themselves directly in your retina and filter out blue light and UV damage. People who eat eggs consistently tend to notice sharper night vision over time. Not a coincidence. And your brain is, structurally, mostly fat. The yolk's phospholipids are literally the fat your brain membranes are made from. That's part of why eggs show up in diets for students, older folks, anyone recovering from a head injury. You're not just eating breakfast at that point. Fast and practical. Caged eggs, skip them if you can. The stress those hens are under isn't nothing. Cage-free sounds nice, but usually just means a crowded barn instead of a crowded cage. Pasture-raised is genuinely the best option. More room, better diet, better nutrients in the actual egg. Organic only tells you about the feed, not the living conditions. So don't assume organic means the hens had a good life. If pasture-raised organic isn't in the budget right now, just buy the regular carton. A basic dozen eggs still beats almost anything in the cereal aisle, no contest. A handful of pairings that actually change the numbers. Arugula. The fat in the yolk helps you absorb way more of its antioxidants. Onions. Good for liver detox pathways. Black pepper. Helps pull more carotenoids out of the yolk. Tomatoes, especially cooked for the lycopene. Avocado if you want the fullness to stretch even longer. Cook it all in olive oil or butter. Both handle normal heat fine and help you absorb more of what's in the eggs to begin with. So that's the real version. 4 eggs a day isn't reckless. For most people, it's one of the cheapest, most efficient things sitting in their fridge right now. Next time I want to get into what happens when you add milk on top of that, because together they do something to your bones and hormones most people have never even heard of. See you in that one.